if LHC would just, get to work and show us the graviton, we're good, right?
Well, the LHC ain't going to show us the graviton, but it'd be nice if it showed us something new.
Yeah.
I mean, the Higgs was a big discovery, but it was a disappointment for me to discover that we were right. I always much prefer to be discovered to be wrong, because then there's new things to learn. I mean, that's what makes it exciting. I was certain the Higgs particle didn't exist, and I had a lot of papers ready when it wasn't going to exist.
When you say you were certain, do you mean certain in the incontrovertible sense?
No.
In the dogmatic sense?
No, obviously not. Because once I realized it was there, I changed my mind. Yeah, that's the way it is. But.
And I think it's important to point that out, because there's a incontrovertible type certainty that people apply to things like, Christian dogmas and things like this that demand that you be absolutely certain, incontrovertibly certain about something.
Well, knowing the truth, knowing the answers before you even ask the questions, that's the real problem. And it's not just Christian dogma, it's any dogma. And as you've read anything I've written over the last 3 or 4 years, the secular dogma bothers me just as much as religious dogma. Anytime people make a claim that no one can question, the claim that there are more than 2 sexes, say example. And if you argue that sex is binary, then you're, in some areas, you're canceled. And the idea that you can't ask those questions and discuss this. In fact, I was just with another friend of mine, Charles, who's in the audience, a neurologist. He was shocked. I just wrote a piece for Quillette about the American Anthropological Association that canceled a panel that was going to talk about sex and gender in anthropology. And they canceled it for a variety of reasons, but one of which that discussing that would be hurtful to some people in the audience, in some anthropologists. And it would be, and even then they wrote another piece saying it would be transphobic to have such a discussion. This was about sex of skeletons, among other things, okay? And that's the antithesis of science. It literally is the antithesis. They don't understand what science is all about, which is science proceeds by dialectic. It proceeds by debate and discussion to try and achieve an understanding of where we're at. And to not even be able to have a discussion of sex and gender for fear it might offend people is what you would expect to see in a variety of places, but certainly one would hope not in a scientific society. And it terrifies me that that's happening more and more in this country and elsewhere.
Yeah, and that's where the minimum requirements for fruitful dialectic are not being met. So something's going on there where a dialectic that could bear fruit just can't happen.
Yeah, and usually we're seeing it in universities all throughout this country. I mean, this is not, maybe it wasn't the point of the event, but it bothers me that I can't not talk about it. Yeah, universities should be the one place where nothing is sacred. I don't think anything's sacred in general, but it's the one place where you should expect, and I said this a long time ago, the purpose of education is to make you uncomfortable. One of the purposes of education. If you're not uncomfortable, then you're not learning. You're not pushing yourself. And so, but we're living in an environment where too many students feel they should never be uncomfortable, and too many faculty and university presidents think that, it's better to not make them uncomfortable and be on the right side of that social justice movement. And then there's no learning.